Welcome everyone to the February Passive House Alberta Coffee Talk. My name is Frank Crawford. I am the Education Committee Lead for Passive House Alberta, and I will be your host for the day. So as every other time, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. We will get to them at the end of the presentation. We'll start with about a half hour or so presentation and then questions afterwards. And at that point, yeah, it's an open dialogue. So if you guys want to unmute and talk, you are welcome to. Yeah, we got a smaller group, 15, 13 today. So today's presentation will be from Alex de Gagné, who is the VP of Sales and Marketing with Minotair. Minotair is a ventilation company out of Quebec, and they sell high performance ventilation products for various different types, and they generally integrate some type of heat pump technology so that we're able to provide both heating and cooling and some dehumidification along with the fresh filtered air that normal HRVs and ERVs provide. So Alex will tell us more. Before we get to Alex, next month's speaker will be Rodney Cornell, who is a professional engineer and is the engineering account representative for the Alberta office of HVAC Systems Inc. And they will be talking about the Swigan heat recovery ventilators and ERVs that generally are for larger multifamily buildings, although I'm actually hearing that Swigan's also bringing to North America some of their smaller single family units. So that will be next month. But for now, take it away, Alex, and tell us all about the Minotair.
Well, thank you very much, Frank, and hello, everyone. Very happy to talk to some other colleagues of the passive house industry. Without further delay, I'm glad to let you know that this is a two-part presentation. The first part is going to be a PowerPoint keynote presentation, and the second part, because I'm keeping the best for last, will be a live demonstration of a fully functioning unit. All right, so bear with me. Let me share a screen here and shuffle some screens here, like this and like this. Please take note that I won't be able to see if you have questions during the presentation. I won't be able to see them. Let's keep them at the end because I've got a lot of stuff to tell you, and by experience, usually I will answer 80 to 90% of your questions along the way. So without further delay, so here we are, and Passive House Alberta, welcome. And let me just do a quick adjustment here because I've got a control bar that is in the way, and there we are. So, well, first, today we're going to learn that because just like computing, distributed mechanical system is the future. Dr. J, more about that later. So today we're going to talk to you. I'm going to show you an ultra short intro video, the humans behind the all-in-one HVAC-D unit, what the product, what we make, what it is, how it does work, who's winning, literally using it in the Department of Energy in the United States. The Deserve for Last, the live demo. And that being said, let's start with that ultra short intro video. Bear with me.
The Detector series, the only autonomous and completely integrated D plus HVAC unit here in North America, as the Pentecare is providing you with the following. Real and effective two-stage whole house dehumidification. Check. First in class, medical grade air filtration according to ASHRAE 170, using as standard a high efficiency Hepa MER15 unique cascaded air filter. Check. Integrated inducted air source heat pump with intelligent free cooling and turbo cooling. Check. Fresh air ventilation provided with the highest heat recovery efficiency ratings ever seen in the industry and third-party certified by the Home Ventilating Institute, on top of being capable of some net zero positive ventilation. Check. One thing that says it all is the fact that all our multifamily building customers are returning customers. And they are not only from the private sector like Onion Flats in Philadelphia, but also from some public housing corporations. Pentecare by Minotair, our innovative and comprehensive indoor wellness engineering approach. Radically different, ultra effective, creating for you and your loved ones probably the most comfortable and healthiest indoor climate you deserve and need now, more than ever. Stay tuned and learn more about it. Broadly engineered and made here in North America for our climate zones. From us, Minotair, the science of air.
Yes, the science of air, la science de l'air in French. So, that being said, all right, so like any great organization, who's the people behind that company? Well, first of all, briefly, who's Minotair Inc? Well, we are here, just beside Ottawa in Gatineau, and obviously you know that it is our capital. What you don't know is just beside our plant, this is the bigger, wider plant. Well, this is where Canadian passports are being made. So this is our headquarters and main assembly plant. Legally in existence for nearly 9 years now. And who's leading, the company? Well, Carl Audet. Carl is a founding CEO and lead engineer and co-owner of Minotair. He was an officer with the Canadian Armed Forces for 23 years, retired at the rank of major. He's a bachelor in engineering from the Military College of Canada in Kingston. As a military, he has worked with NORAD along the U.S. Air Force, was part of the multinational peacekeeping force and observers in Egypt in 95-96, explaining the pictures on the left. And as a civilian, he was consultant for the Canadian Armed Forces and other clients. He's 53 years old, father of 2 girls he raised with Sue, his great love. So, just like in the Army, with us things are straight, efficient, and durable. It has to work. So, that's myself. If you want to practice your French, my name is Alexandre de Gagné, but outside Quebec, I'm pretty much known as Alex de Gagné. And by the way, Frank, you did pronounce my name correctly. Thank you for that, de Gagné. So, that's me, with a shorter haircut here. Born in Mount Sutton, which is a ski mountain village about 10 kilometers north of Vermont, and with my father, who was a builder and a real estate promoter, who was promoting quality in buildings in the 60s. To give you an idea, in 65, when he was building our house, behind reclaimed barn grade planks in the living room, he put aluminum foil to reflect heat in 65. So I'm luckily the son of that gentleman. Personally, I've been working in HVAC technical sales since 2006, mostly for multinational manufacturers like Fantech Systemair, one of the largest global group of manufacturers making ventilation products. Actually, Fantech is the largest manufacturer and reseller of inline dock fans in North America, one of the main players with HRVs and ERVs and other products. I was board member of the Canadian Institute of Plumbing and Heating for 2 years, Canada's largest association of plumbing and heating manufacturers, explaining the pin I have on my label. Also, I'm a building technologist by trade with 2 technical college degrees about building construction and inspection. I am Passive House trained in November 2016, being in person at the Passive House Institute in Darmstadt, Germany. Yep, I was in Germany at the Institute for the Certified Passive House Designer program, with final exam yet to be completed because I'm too goddamn busy running my company. And, because we are agnostic, fierce training to come also. I am previously vice chairman of the Quebec Passive House Building Association, Bâtiment Passif Québec. And I'm 53 years old, father of 2 green plants, no kids, with yet to find my great love of a lady. So, the genesis, an interesting story of our industry. It's part of the National Building Code of Canada since 1995 to suggest installation of HRVs. That's an excerpt from the National Building Code of 95. But in the province of Quebec, it's mandatory for over 20 years to install HRVs in new homes. All that is influenced by the birth in Canada in 1985 of the standard CAN CSA 439 to test HRVs and ERVs. Units are tested by the only North American third-party lab, Element Exova Lab, based in Mississauga in Toronto, under the CAN CSA 439, and lab results are published and certified by the Home Ventilating Institute, a US-based organization legally used in many building codes and respected across USA and Canada. So yes, Americans put man on the moon in 1969, but up here in Canada, we know a thing or two about manufacturing HRVs and ERVs with Canadian-based manufacturers like Aldes, Fantech, Libra, Vanny, Vanmar, Minotair, plus making private label products for train, carriers, and Lennox. Actually, the vast majority of HRVs and ERVs, residential size, I meant by that, are made in Canada. So, because there's nothing like expertise and experience in life, right? So we know residential ventilation here in Canada. So how it started at Minotair? Well, way too many Quebecers are turning off their HRVs and ERVs in the summer, even ERVs, because entering air is often too hot and hard and humid. Montreal, by the way, is as hot and humid as Boston that time of year. So Carl has decided to make something about that, being a good handy guy on top of being a great engineer with a military background. After some extensive research, Carl saw that not only heat pumps can remove moisture out of the air, very effectively, but they can also capture more heat in the air than any usual technology. And I'm referring here at rich RVs and ERVs with more efficiency. That technology was not really used here in North America for residential purposes, but is known for decades as used in some industrial and commercial applications. So let's continue to see the result of his hard work, now refined with our R&D team. So now, what it is. So today we're going to introduce you to the innovative all-in-one HVAC D units. D for dehumidification. Taking comprehensive care in indoor climate, being heat pump based. It is a heat pump, ducted, and 100% electrified, so reducing carbon footprint. It is a heat pump with some twists, permitting it to be the most efficient of all fresh air ventilation appliance out there, When I talk about fresh air appliance, I'm talking of HRVs and ERVs, obviously. So we call that a Pentacare series. And why Pentacare? Because we are using our innovative Pentacare formula, which takes care of 5 things, which is fresh air, heating, cooling, moisture management, and air filtration, providing comprehensive care indoor climate, as we must take care of those 5 things. Applications are the following, the work of one Pentacare V12 equals the work of a HRV ERV, providing balanced fresh air ventilation with heat and moisture recovery. The work of an air source heat pump ducted for heating and cooling. The work of a dehumidifier, because we do removes up to 4 times more moisture than an equivalent air source heat pump, up to 53 liters per day, or 112 pints. And the job of an air filtration device with a standard Hepa MERV 15 medical grade air filtration with a gasketed filter. By the way, medical grade filters start at MERV 14 as per ASHRAE 170. If you're asking yourself, what is ASHRAE 170? Is the standard for healthcare HVAC equipment standard. Okay, so in reality, it's like 4 machines in one. Applications are the following: single dwellings and ADUs, multifamily, light commercial. Also, our product is serious stuff, and that is reassuring. How? Well, our most important components are made by leading and world-class manufacturers being in business for decades. Just like a car manufacturer, HVAC manufacturers, we get parts from other suppliers, and, we assemble and we test, and ship and sell our units that is coming from our R&D researchers. So, first of all, and that's reassuring why, well, first of all, because all those components are actually available off the shelf here in North America, either from the manufacturers directly or from their wholesalers. Yeah, this is serious stuff. So certifications of legal compliance. As a heat pump, we comply with CSA 22.2. The equivalent in US, with NCUL 1995. Other legal compliance, we comply with ASHRAE 62.1 commercial, ASHRAE 62.2 residential, obviously CSA 439, and also CSA F326 here in Canada. So now how it does work? Well, to start with a few performances at a glance. So our machines do provide about 1 ton of cooling, and about 3/4 ton of heating at 8,700 BTUs, and dehumidification, we provide up to 53 liters of moisture removal per day in a 2-stage process, because we are able to remove moisture out of the fresh air when we are in fresh air mode or HRV mode, and we are able to do this even more by going in recirculation, just like a ducted heat pump, to remove more moisture. We have 3 filters, 2 MERV 8 filters, 1 per coil, and 1 medical grade Hepa MERV 15 filter. In talking about that filter, our Hepa MERV 15 air filter, with its unique gasket to ensure better air tightness, is about 90% efficient at arresting wildfire smoke particles. You guys were hit hard, unfortunately, in the last years with wildfires. Good news, we have customers on the West Coast drooling about our units because of that filter. Okay, it is installed as standard with all our machines. So that's the filter. It doesn't have a cardboard frame. No, we needed a metallic rigid frame with a gasket to make a better job of filtering the air, okay, to have the air tightness as good as possible. This is a graph showing that we are 90% in the second best, as standard has a MERV 13 at 56%. Balanced fresh air ventilation from 20 CFM up to 180 CFM. And ventilation, what's happening every 20 minutes. If you take any regular HRV, ERVs, and if you dial that machine for 60 CFM, after 20 minutes, you're going to get 1,200 cubic feet of filtered fresh air. Okay, that's fair. If we enter 60 CFM in our machines, we know that, we'll need that 1,200 cubic feet of air. So what's going on? Our machine can decide to work faster. And this is here one example. Okay, this is not the only way. Bear with me. This is not the only way. This is one of many scenarios based on what the machines will do, depending what needs to be done. But that is an example where we can run at 240 CFM for 5 minutes, still providing the exact same amount of fresh air. And that is permitted by ASHRAE, by the way. So plus within that same 20-minute window, we provide either 15 minutes of heating or 15 minutes of cooling or 15 minutes of dehumidification. But wait, there's more. Plus additional medical grade air filtration, air scrubbing. So if you put in a passive house a Zender unit where Fantech, where Venmar, for 20 minutes they didn't provide you strictly with filter fresh air. Okay, that's fair. That's good. That's factual. In our case, we're going to bring the exact same amount of fresh air. Plus, we'll be providing either some heating or cooling or dehumidification. Plus, we will continue to scrub the air. So we're going to make the indoor even better in terms of indoor quality, factually, with that medical grade air MER 15 filter. Okay? So what do you prefer? Using the same ductwork, by the way. So knowing that you're some technical people here, so I'm glad to let you know that not only we have our ventilation performances for heat recovery are certified by the HVI for 3 years now, but we have the highest efficiency numbers ever seen. And now I'm sure you're dying to understand, how can you be above 100%? Well, it's because it's a ratio. It's not. It doesn't have a maximum of 100%. As a maximum, it's a ratio. So let's have a look, because the SRE, which is the metric on which we're able to compare HRVs and ERVs, among each other, including our units, to say, okay, how efficient those units are to do some ventilation-wise, in terms of how much electricity are they using and how much heat can they capture. Okay, so a lot of people think that the SRE, it's strictly a ratio that can capture out of the stale air a certain amount of heat energy up to a maximum of 100%. And by the way, a lot of great mechanical engineers, PEs, think that the SRE is that, but it's not exactly that. Okay, so in reality, by definition from CSR 439, our North American standard used for decades and now for which data is certified by the HVI, the SRE is a ratio where for a certain amount of electrical energy, compressor included. Yes, compressor included, because about 20 years ago, a machine from Denmark called Nilan was sold in Canada, mostly in the east of Canada, but the CSA 439 committee standard decided to take into consideration that kind of machine. So again, it's a ratio where for a certain amount of electrical energy, compressor included, a unit can capture out of the air a certain amount of heat energy, and not necessarily only from the stale air. Like I said, a regular HRV, ERV, can only capture heat from the stale air. Fair. With the SRE of up to 88%. If you're asking me, obviously this is factual, and that is a Zender Comfort 350. In our case, we are capturing heat from 3 heat sources. Yes, from the stale air, but also from the moisture and the compressor work. Because you have to understand, our units are self-contained, one box only. There's no outdoor unit. Okay, the compressor and the coil, both components are inside our box. You'll be able to see that. So the work of the compressor releases about 1,000 BTUs of free heat that we are taking advantage of. Okay, so giving us a SRE of 116%, meaning that for each watt of electricity, our machines capture more heat, than any other technology, which is great. In reality, in the same lab, which is Exova Element in Toronto, being tested by the same technician under the same standard, for that Zender unit, the indoor conditions were 22 Celsius, outdoor 0 Celsius, moving 100 CFM, and providing fresh air with a 20.5, which is a bit colder. In our case, in the exact same conditions, 22 Celsius indoor air, 0 Celsius outdoor air, still moving 100 CFM. And like I've said, tested by the same technician in the same lab, the fresh air exiting the unit is at 39.2 Celsius. Yes, because we work with 3 heat sources, and that 1,000 BTUs of free heat is a big plus. All right. And that is Canadian technology, my friends. So our big advantage in those conditions, our units do heating while bringing in fresh air in a very efficient manner, while competition products make the indoor factually colder. So do you prefer 20.5 when it's 22 indoor, or you prefer 39? Obvious answer here, right? So who's winning, literally using it? In the Department of Energy of the United States. So the Pentacare series, like you know now, is an all-in-one HVAC unit, and it is perfect for multifamily buildings. It is great also for single-family homes, don't get me wrong, but our niche actually is multifamily, okay, one per suite, okay? Our first multifamily project, well, it is a 20 apartment building called Highbridge Place, and it is in the United States in Highland, New York, which is between New York City, Montreal, just to give you an idea. So 20 apartments, 20 Pentacare V12 units. And the owner of the building was also the GC who built the building, called AHC. On their website, they say this building is also equipped with the first implementation of Minotair units, providing unrivaled levels of indoor comfort and health. That's not from us. You can go on AHC website, you'll be able to see that. By the way, we're quite factual at Minotair. There's no marketing twist, or bloating. I'm here to give you some facts, hard facts. Our second multifamily project, and it has a Canadian tie here. It's an award-winning project called, it is a zero and passive house building called Front Flats. And it's designed and built and owned by the firm Onion Flats, okay? So maybe you heard of that building in Philadelphia. This is a 28 apartment building with PV panels being installed 2 feet in front of the exterior walls, So very polarizing. I've been there 5 times. Very interesting building. And 28 Pentacare units were installed. So that's Tim McDonald. Tim McDonald is an architect by trade. He's half Canadian because a portion of his family is from Timmins, Ontario. He's the CEO of Onion Flats. Onion Flats is a very interesting company. Not only they are a bunch of architects, but they are also a GC company, general contractor, and they own 5 passive house multifamily buildings. And they also are consultants for other building developers. Okay, so they have an extremely good knowledge of what works and what doesn't. So that's a picture during construction. On the top of the unit, you are able to see a L-shaped rectangular box, and that is a electric duct heater that is there as a backup the coldest days of winter. Here we have, sorry, I've got a problem here. Okay, here we have Tim again with the installation finish. Just below his hand are 2 tubes connecting to one to do a P-trap for, of course, the condensate evacuation. Underneath, 2 drawers for the tenants to use. And finally, the finished look of it, so it's pretty neat. Just beside the outside wall, neat and tidy, all is good. So if you want to learn more about that project, I invite you to go to passivehousebuildings.com. Spring Summer 2020, 4-page article, very simple. They say that McDonald chose a very quiet, decentralized HVAC unit, one for each apartment. And what's interesting is that all our multifamily customers are recurring customers, and Onion Flats is one of them. And we are working with them on Copper Flats, which is another project, as indicated there. And not only that, we are working with Onion Flats with some of their customers for 2 or 3 other projects right now. So that same project was mentioned in the Wall Street Journal. Extremely proud to see that. And bear with me, the same picture on the left going to be seen here, but not from the same website. This is the Journal of the American Institute of Architects, and that building has won an award last August, as a R&D award, which is great. And something extremely important has been said by Tim McDonald himself. He says that this decentralized approach is simpler, more economical, and easier to maintain than conventional methods. Interesting, right? So, a few advantages. This is a thermostat looking device to control a unit. There's no sensor, meaning that no possibility for tenants to put ice cubes in plastic bags on the top of the device to get more heating. Also, we have a tenant mode to making sure that tenants are allowed only to change the heating and cooling temperature set points in units if needed, and allowing building managers to set maximum and minimum temperature limits if desired. Our machine have a microcomputer, commercial grade microcomputer, which is easy to update with a USB key, This makes, and to bring new functionality over time, and no more disuse nor obsolescence. Well, that's lying. And by the way, that microcomputer, it's commercial grade, and rooftop HVAC equipments are using the same microcomputer. Meaning that we are able to also interconnect our machines using Modbus, to use a building management system. So an application on a laptop permitting you to remotely monitor and control up to 207 units, using the Modbus protocol. Okay, I don't want to get too much into details here, but still, it's good to understand that our unit is commercial grade, even if they are for residential application. Automatic shower detector, with intelligent heat and humidity recovery. That is clever. In parallel of that, all our machines, they do come with one bathroom timer. You can add to up to 10 bathroom timers if you want, but they come standard with one bathroom timer and one mounted controller. But in parallel of that, we have the automatic shower detector, which is an intelligent heat and humidity recovery. Because we measure the temperature and the moisture in the return air inside the machines. When someone takes a shower, it takes only a few minutes to understand that someone takes a shower because there's a spike in temperature and a spike in moisture. So automatically, the machine will exhaust the warm and moist air from the bathrooms outside. But during the heating season, and only when the indoor air is too dry, it will instead automatically recirculate that warm, moist air from the showers inside. Hey, we're in Canada. It's dry and cold in winter. Why waste heat and moisture when we need some, So automatically it will be done. And believe me, there's no indoor air quality issue, okay? Unless if you fart in your shower, okay? But I'm not responsible for that. So heating-wise, it's more comfort and savings. Note, once again, that works in parallel with our manual bathroom timers, which are in reality a master override, okay? Advantages, well, no more need or relying on someone to activate bathroom ventilation during showers, meaning protection of buildings, physical integrity, gyprock walls, wood studs is almost not an issue anymore, meaning maximum reduction of appearance of mold, so protecting people better. Electricity usage of high-speed fans is controlled and limited when really needed. No more forgotten fans on, meaning no more waste of electricity and gains in energy savings. I'm going to fly the COVID mode. It is a hidden feature that we are able to turn on if our units are to be used strictly in one-room spaces, like a ICU hospital room, intensive care unit hospital room, or a retirement home, that kind of stuff. Okay, so because we have less time than usual, I need to fly that. So keep in mind we have a COVID mode if needed. What kind of great recurring customers doing high-performance buildings, passive houses, and others are using our products? Well, some would like to use our machine to take care of tiny houses, shelters for homeless people in the East Coast of the USA. ADUs across North America, single-family homes with some award-winning homes from Alaska down to Florida. No joke, we have a dealer selling our machines in Alaska. Multi-family new builds and retrofits from 20 up to 309 units with no additional heat pumps. So let's have a look at some of them. Targa Homes in Seattle, Washington. Okay. So they won a US DOE Zero Energy Ready Home 2021 winner award of the Housing Innovation Awards. So Targa Homes, they are specialized in ADUs, and Sean Conta, who's the owner, has told me that the main reason why they won is because of our technology. Okay. So as a Canadian, I'm extremely proud to see that the US DOE gives an innovation award to one of my customers using our technology. Bursmouth Design Build in Portland, Oregon. Okay, well, Green Building Advisor website. I'm sure you know that website well. They have built a passive house bungalow, and they are using a Minotair with a sand unit, and in a closet. By the way, the water tank could have been installed underneath our unit. They have decided to put it aside to make some storage space there. Okay, that is from December 6th, 2019. Also, Greenhammer in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, we're popular on the West Coast. They've built 11 single-family homes, about 1,700 square feet. Each of them is using a Pentacare V12. GoingStreetCommons.com if you're curious to learn more. Those buildings look nice. They look Scandinavian. I love that. That's my kind of buildings. Line Fab, Vancouver, BC. Oh, we're back in Canada. Probably some of you know Bryn Davidson. Well, so one of the two owners with Matt of Lane Fab. So far, we have done 10 single-family laneway houses with them. Celebration Green and Design Building in Guilford, Connecticut. It's a passive house, 2,000 square feet, net zero also, using 2 Pentacare V12s, one per floor. They won Home of the Year award, Mainstream Green Category, Green Builder Magazine 2021, So, great to hear. And so in Vermont, our first FIA certified house, So in southern Vermont, which is a cold place. Also winner of the FIAS Conference 2021 with an honorable mention. Evernorth in Burlington, Vermont, which is 90 minutes south of Montreal. So this is another recurring customers doing affordable housing and doing multifamily. And we have done 23 units a year ago for a building, another building later this spring for 27 units, 21 units next fall, and apparently other projects for the upcoming years. Quite thankful. Ottawa Community Housing. They own 15,000 apartments across Ottawa, and we has been chosen to take care of the Mechanic project, which is a 3 passive house level building complex in Ottawa. I say passive house level because they're not going for certification, but they're going to use passive house building techniques. And we will sell 271 units, to be installed later this year, starting installation later this year. Okay. Also, another affordable housing corporation called POA, Preservation of Affordable Housing. They are located near Boston. So this is a very interesting project, guys, for deep energy retrofit. The 2 buildings you're looking at, 2 10-story high buildings built in the 70s. The brick ties were failing, so they have decided to. While we have to remove the bricks, why not taking the advantage to do a deep energy retrofit? So they are recladding the entire building with prefab wall panels, install triple pane windows, 283 apartments, and we are delivering 283 machines. We have started last July, in this cutting edge energy efficient retrofit project. And that is the project. Julie Klum was an architect and VP at POA, was a keynote speaker at a FIAS conference in last October in the United States. And this is a plan of how they are doing it. They are taking some space in the bedroom. They could, in some other apartments, they're taking space in the living room to make a mechanical closet of about 2 feet of depth and about 4 feet of width. So very interesting. That's Julie Klump and myself at the trade show, where she was a keynote. That's me on the job site with the engineers and the energy consultants. And that's a picture of how it looks like. So once again, this is a deep energy retrofit. And this is why we are transitioning from round ducts to rectangular ducts, because we are able to go between the ceiling, and also sprinklers. Note that the wooden bench underneath our unit is optional because we supply hanging straps, and apparently they forgot about that. But now they are using the straps, which is a better way to hang a unit instead of chains and springs to mitigate vibration. And also you are able to use them, to level the unit. The units must be level for 2 reasons: because of the drainage, and number 2, because the compressors love to be level. Okay. So here's a list of projects we're doing, and some of them in Canada. We have a 55 unit project in Sudbury. Let me go back here. So if 55 unit in Sudbury, we have a 45 unit in St. Thomas, in Hamilton, sorry, another one in Victoria, BC, and then so on and so on and so on. So right now, what's interesting to keep in mind is we have over 1,200 confirmed units to deliver in the next 18 years, and counting its potentially. Like I've said, 100% of our multi-family customers are coming back to us. So I'll let you decide what it means. So as Canadians, to see that the U.S. Department of Energy talks about you is always a great thing, right? So there's a market assessment from March 2020, and they were saying that in their key market development recommendations, that to see the development of smaller system size for multifamily units. So the Rocky Mountain Institute, that you might know have, who works with the DOE, have a retrofit program called Realize, based on the Energy Sprung program from the Netherlands. So they're talking about the fact that we'd like to see air-to-air heat pump systems that could be sized as small as 11,000 BTUs and still meet ventilation loads if passive house construction techniques were used for such retrofits. Well, this is exactly what we've been doing for the last 9 years. So great to see that the US DOE wants to see machines like ours, Also, a quick technical recap. We're near the end, guys. So meaning that the Minotair advantages go like this. So no long lines of refrigerant, so leak potential almost 0. This is obviously mostly for multifamily buildings, by the way. No long ductwork needed. No or very little fire dampers required. Much faster installation. 1 hour swappable units. For multifamily projects, we add a few units that people are keeping on the premises. If they need to remove a unit for maintenance or repair reasons, they only have to send regular maintenance personnel. And within an hour, they are able to swap a unit. That is reassuring. So because if one machine goes down, it's not the entire building. It's only one apartment. You were talking, Frank, earlier about a Swagon company. Great company, great products. The problem is, if one machine goes down, it's either an entire building or half a building. In our case, it's only one apartment, and within the same day, within an hour, you're able to swap, put back a unit, which is a peace of mind for building owners and building managers. We provide what we think is a better indoor quality and better comfort with medical-grade air filtration with our standard Hepa MER15 filter, helping greatly during wildfires and effective dehumidification. Designed and built in Canada for North American climates. In some cases, when compared to VRF and centralized ventilation, thousands of dollars potentially saved per dwelling units. So that is, on top of all the other advantages you have, you're saving money and creating jobs in Canada. And finally, the last word from a doctor. And that's from a very interesting article from the Ashford Journal. So the compartmentalization principle, for the envelope of a building also can be extended to heating, cooling, and domestic hot water. Unit space heating and cooling and hot water is provided by individual mechanical systems and located in each unit. Distributed systems are the future. Remember computing. And who's that doctor? Dr. Joe Stiebrek, PhD, professional engineer, Ashford Fellow, born in Toronto, and principal and co-founder of Building Science Corporation. That the information there, you are able to get that from the Ashford Journal of July 2019. This is free and public information. That's myself with Joe in Philadelphia in 2016. So he lives now near Boston with his American architect wife and Betty Pitsit, and running Building Science Corporation. But he's Canadian and really proud to be Canadian. So the good news is, guys, when we've been doing distributed systems for almost a decade now at Minotair, bringing you and your projects a unique expertise, an expertise of the future available now. So we are at the end, guys, of that keynote presentation. So now let me get to the dessert for last, which is the live demonstration. So now I'm going to switch to the demo cam for the live demo. Okay, so now you can take, if you want to take down my contact info if you want. And if you are going next week to Boston for the Building Energy Boston of this year, I'm going to be there, table 21, with the same unit that you're going to see in a few moments. So thanks for that. Stay here, and I'll be with you in less than a minute. So let me stop share the presentation, and do this, and let me whoa, did I lose you guys? No, you're still there. All right, so let me turn off that camera and that mic, and within a minute I'll be able to continue. All right, so bear with me.
All right, we'll give Alex just a second to switch over to his demo camera. We can actually see one of his Pentacare units being used. And again, if you have any questions, write them in the chat. And if not, we'll have a bit of question time at the end. We might go a bit over, but yeah, definitely some interesting learnings.
Okay, gentlemen, can you see me?
Yes, we can.
All right, good. Let me switch camera here, and here we are, guys. So what we're looking at is a very simple machine, forms function, follows the function, so neat, no frills. So what's going on? By the way, I won't be able to answer the questions while I do the live demonstration. I don't mind if you ask your question that we are able to take care at the end of that demonstration, but just to let you know. So right here, we're looking at a facade of 40 inches, a depth of 18 inches, and a height of 16 inches and a half. So when we look at it, that looks like a big HRV, right? With the top ports. By the way, the two ports here are for stellar out, fresh air in, stellar from the building, fresh air to the building. And now let me open the doors. The only thing different from a regular machine is the fact that we have plastic panes, transparent plastic panes here in the back to shoes. So this is a ducted heat pump, but a ducted heat pump with some twist, being the most capable fresh air appliance of the entire industry in heat recuperation, as certified by the HVI. Okay, so yes, that's the job of a active heat recovery HRV, being able to also to recirculate some moisture with the automatic shower detector, as you know now. So now let me explain you how it works. So this is a So this is the minnow display. It looks like a thermostat, but no sensor inside. We are measuring the temperature inside the unit. And this is the bathroom timer. Okay. So right now, let me change the unit here. Sorry about that. Yeah, last presentation wasn't for Americans. So all right. So now, 80 CFM, and you see the house. So we are in air exchange, explaining the two arrows here, right? So now what's going on is the air around me is getting inside the unit here, and is crossing on the right here, going through the triple ply filter, MERV 8 filter, and crossing that coil. So I'm going to go in the back to continue the presentation to explain what's going on. So instead of having a passive core, just like an HRV or ERV, that coil captures the heat from the stale air and captures the heat from the moisture, two heat sources. So those two heat sources, by refrigerant, are transferred to the second coil. And that second coil is capturing heat, will have fresh air crossing it, being preheated. And in the back, we are able to see the compressor. And the work of the compressor releases, like I said, 1,000 BTUs of free heat, okay? So this is why that when we have indoor air, at 22 Celsius, and we have outdoor entering the unit at 0 Celsius, and we move 100 CFM, the fresh air exiting here is at 39 Celsius. Again, those numbers are not from Minotair. They are from Exova Element Lab in Toronto, tested under CSR 439 and certified by the HVI, just like any other serious HRV, ERV manufacturers, okay? So that is pretty cool. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna manually ask the machine to work as a heat pump. I do that because we are in a demonstration. Obviously, everything is done fully automatically by the machine. So now the two arrows are chasing each other instead of crossing the wall. But what's going on? So we have the damper here. So the damper is moving because now I'm pointing the back of the unit, and the damper is moving. The damper is either 100% in air exchange, like it was, or like it is now, 100%. Yeah, right now, 100% in recirculation, working as a ducted heat pump or as a furnace, if you prefer. So meaning that still have air, entering here, but it cannot go right anymore. It has to go left. Going left, crossing that MERV 8 filter, crossing that MERV 15 filter. By the way, let me show it briefly to you. Rigid frame to be able to have a gasket, and when I push it, it is tight. And this is what we want. So the air crosses the two filters, and 100% of the air entering the building is always filtered by those two filters, independently if it's recirculated air or, fresh air from outside. So the air gets treated, heated or cooled by the coil and gets back inside. So the process here, just like, a Harrison heat pump head, a duct, in the living room, instead of we're using ducts to do so. Meanwhile, I still have fresh air entering the unit here. But because the damper is like this, the air is crossing the coil and is going back outside. Usually that coil and the compressor would be in a box outside. If you have a regular mini split, that coil and the compressor would be in the box outside. But we cleverly brought those components inside the box, meaning that you don't have to pass refrigerant lines whatsoever, okay, to have something extremely compact to do a great job. So now let me once again ask it to work again as a fresh air appliance. So, by the way, the smart mode, this is our fully automatic mode. Okay, and we have other modes, so air exchanger, obviously air, we're gonna have the two arrows chasing each other, and the damper is moving back and is 100% fresh air position. Okay. So now let me go here and switch camera here for you to be able to see me clearly. So if you do remember, I said that the machine worked and let me rephrase that. Sorry. How do we work from from recirculation into air exchange? Okay, so each hour of a day is divided in 3 20-minute windows. In each 20-minute windows, we have always a portion of air exchange and always a portion of recirculation. In recirculation, the machine works as a ducted heat pump. In air exchange, the machine works as a compressor-based HRV. Okay, so this is how it goes. But like I said, if you have a need of 60 CFM of fresh air with a regular machine like a Zender or a Vanmar or a Fantech, after 20 minutes, you're going to get that 1,200 cubic feet of air, right? I presented that earlier. So 60 CFM multiplied 20 minutes. Yes, Alex, it gives 1,200 cubic feet. We get it. When we do the commissioning of our units, we enter 60 CFM if it is what we want. So by entering 60 CFM, the machine knows, okay, every 20 minutes, I need to provide 1,200 cubic feet of air. But if needed, I may work faster to bring that fresh air in and get rid of the stale at the same time, meaning that I have more time in the remaining 20-minute window to go in recirculation and work as a heat pump to do either more cooling or heating or dehumidification. So this is why that, as one example, and bear with me, this is one scenario among so many others, the machine can decide, say, I'm going to work for 5 minutes at 240 CFM, maximum being 250. So 240 multiplied by 5 will give us 1,200 cubic feet of fresh air. Harsh rate 62.2 gives you 3 hours to bring in the same amount of fresh air in a non-continuous way. We do it every 20 minutes, so we're 9 times more compliant. So there's no indoor quality issue. On the contrary, you know, if you hear some people selling machines that don't do recirculation, so all recirculation is blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, guess what? Recirculation can be good. Why is that? Because in our case, when we go in recirculation, not only we do heating, cooling, dehumidification, we are using that. And let me go back again here. We are able to scrub. We do scrub the air with those 2 filters. You know, meaning that, you know, viruses. We know that viruses, you know, COVID, flu, whatever, you know, even if they are smaller than dust particles, have a tendency to grab themselves to bigger particles like dust particle, meaning that a MERV 15 will do a great job. It's not a miracle, but it will do a great job of helping the indoor air quality, you know, for particles, you know, or even some viruses. Okay, that is well known. Anyhow, so compared to a regular HRV, ERV, where you only have fresh air, filtered air, which is great, on the other side, for the same amount of time, for every 20 minutes, we're going to do a much better job because we will be able to, once the air is in, we are able to go in recirculation and continue to scrub it. Okay. So once again, 1 hour, each hour of the day, we have 3 20-minute windows. In each of those windows, there's always a portion of fresh air, always a portion of heating, cooling, or dehumidification. And more than that, in the summertime, when we are in fresh air mode, in air exchange, we are able to do cooling to the air or dehumidification to the air, depending on what needs to be done. So one thing I forgot to mention that is the quality of the unit. You know, it's made of aluminum. You know, even the screws are stainless steel. You know, commercial grade microcomputer by Carrel. Everything is nice laid out, and also the damper is made in Switzerland by Bilimo. So this is a commercial grade quality machine, and also we are planning to have those machines be refurbished at the end of their normal life if we are able to get the parts. Because just like an airplane, like a Cessna, you know, we have Cessnas who are 50, 60 years old, made of aluminum and stainless steel. You just by changing the rotating parts, you are able and be allowed to fly some 50, 60 years old plane, you know? So in our case, yes, if the parts are available in 15 years, 20 years from now, we'll be more than happy to to refurbish those machines about the cost of half the cost of a brand new machine. This is something we have discussed with Ottawa Community Housing because they would like to extend the life expectancy of the machines. And in a carbon zero world, we need to find, you know, sustainable strategies, and this is one of them. I think we are the first manufacturing offering that capacity, as long as our suppliers can supply us with the compressors and the fans and all the rotating parts that we need to change 15, 20 years from now. So here I am. We still have, I think, 6 minutes to ask questions. I don't mind if you guys want to stay longer. If it's possible, I'll be more than happy to continue past the hour. So Frank, I think you have a question for me regarding PHI.
Yeah, we've got a few questions coming up. So I guess maybe one somewhat easy one to start with. How long do your HEPA filters normally last? Do they, like, obviously depends on how dirty the building is, but do you have a recommended replacement schedule?
Lifespan will vary from 1 year up to 2 years, depending on the hardships in the environment. So you got it right. Yeah. So yeah.
Perfect. And I guess the MERV 8 ones, are they every few months as well? You replace those?
Every 3 months. Yeah. Just like any HRVs, ERVs, every 3 months, the regular filters have to be changed. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah. So is the Minotair working or able to get PHI certified? Because I guess some of us are interested in that. Is that in the works?
We are having active discussion right now with the senior technical staff at PHI in Germany. They are thinking of potentially creating a new product category for us because of the uniqueness of our units, and because it would make sense because it's incapable to kind of shoe fit, our machine in different categories because some operations are interwoven, So this is why the approach has to be different. They understand it, and we are very positive discussion with them. We don't have a timetable of when we think that we're going to be included as a new product category with PHI and also the PHPP. Hopefully along the year. I think it's going to be, hopefully before Christmas or maybe before the end of the summer. But I don't want to be more precise than that. The good news is, they are talking with us. They are positively curious. They learn now. They know now how it works. They didn't know for a certain amount of time that they didn't know really how the machine was working. We had a proper meeting where I've done the technical presentation of the unit, and I saw in their eyes that, I saw positive reactions, and then verbally, and then non-verbal. So yeah.
Perfect. Great. That's excellent to hear.
By the way, we are totally acceptable. We are totally usable on their FIAS projects if some of you do from FIAS projects.
Yeah, because I think FIAS just basically follows HVI certification. So.
Yeah,
more or less.
Which is HVI is still a series. CSR 429, by the way, is to some extent some more stringent than PHI recommendation for HRs and ERVs, by the way.
Yep.
So yeah. Just to
another question. So for the for an apartment sized units, is there kind of a maximum square footage for the unit, or is it kind of based on the heating and cooling loads, or how do you kind of size the unit for the apartment?
Well, like I said earlier, the maximum heating capacity is 8,700 BTUs with 3/4 ton of heating, and cooling is 11,500 BTUs. So based on your calculated loads, for heating and cooling, you have your answer. So me, I'm able to tell you how much they are able to do, but that question, which is a very general question, is kind of too vague for me to say, well, you'll be able to do 1,000 square feet, or you're going to be at 500 square feet, depending on where you are. Some of you are in Regina, which is -32. And here, right now it's like, I don't know, it's -7. And it could be probably milder in some other places. So it always varies depending on the building. Are we talking about passive house building? We know that in Montreal, we could be able to do a passive house and a passive house space up to 800 square feet, something like that, But again, there's so many variables, So it's more important to have a precisely calculated heating cooling loads like this. We are able to know where we're going and what kind of equipment is needed.
Yep. I guess follow up to that. Do you have your kind of performance curves? Because I know most heat pumps, as the outdoor temperature gets colder, the capacity that it can move across drops. So that
absolutely,
that 8,000 was at whatever, I think 8 degrees outdoor temperature. Do you have? Yeah. How far down do you go, I guess?
We go, so we're not hiding the fact that our machines, they have a cutoff at -12 Celsius as a heat pump. This is not a cold heat pump technology. The upcoming version that we should have out in about 2 years from, a year and a half, 2 years from now, will be a cold climate heat pump, meaning that, the machine you just saw must be installed with electric duct heater when it is used as the main heating system. It is mandatory. We make that mandatory. When our systems are to be used as the main heating system in a space, the electric duct heater, which is either a 3 kW or a 5 kW, fully variable in intensity, we prefer to sell a 5 kW because it's like $20 difference with a 3 kW, but at least you have the capacity to have up to 17,000 BTUs, when you need them. And believe me, in Canada, 5 kW is not a bad idea, far from it. And it's the maximum 250 CFM of air is able to transfer. By the way, when you do ductwork sizing, you have to size your ductwork for 250 CFM, not based on your fresh air requirement, but on the fact that on a regular basis, the machine will push 250 CFM. So meaning that the main trunk will be 8-inch, going down to 6 or 5-inch diameter for the registers or the supply registers, So, but we're using metallic rigid ductwork, easily available. And the only thing different is you have to use this product, 3 feet of that product as a muffler, So this is a medical grade. This is a medical grade, commercial grade product made in Canada. It's probably hard to see, but inside we let me see if I'm not able to do that here.
We can see it. That's good with the camera there.
Yeah. So do we see the pinholes in the aluminum? Do you see at the top?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that you tell it, we see them.
Yeah. So the pinholes muffle the sound, and we have a second liner, a plastic line, meaning that the moisture is not touching the fibers. The fibers are not migrating in the airstream. This is semi-rigid, and we use 3 feet of that directly at each fresh air register to muffle the sound. So we use this as a muffler, 3 feet only, could be 4, could be 5 feet if you need to go around a column or pipe something. But about 3 feet is the minimum, and the pressure drop is minimal. Great product. The exact same product has been used in the most recent hospital in Montreal that has been built 3-4 years ago. So if it's good enough in hospital, it's good enough for our homes, right?
Yep.
But for the rest, it's metallic rigid ductwork, easily, readily available across North America. So.
Yeah. So Nick is asking just a clarification. So basically, essentially, it's kind of like a forced air furnace or a ducted heat pump, and then can also be an HRV when it's in kind of the ventilation mode, because it is still recovering a bit of heat.
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I don't usually say that it's a small furnace, because it's not a furnace. It's really physically a heat pump that is capable. That is also a compressor based HRV doing active heat recovery. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but still, yeah. Taking care of fresh air, taking care of heating, cooling, dehumidification, and high efficiency air filtration. Yeah, and all in a very compact package.
Yeah, and all electric, so there's no gas connection.
There's no gas connection. So you saw a lot of multifamily examples, because this is our main market, to be honest with you. But this company started 9 years ago selling those units in single family homes as a master fresh air appliance, to take care of a whole house ventilation, whole house dehumidification, and whole house medical grade air filtration device, giving also supplemental heating and cooling. Right now we have part of the. That's funny to say, and I cannot say name because I did sign a non-disclosure agreement. But part of the 10 richest people on this planet bought our units for their homes, mostly for their bedrooms for fresh air. Okay, so yeah. So the thing is, if you want probably the best indoor quality on the market in terms of equipment, look no further. This is the machine for you. Factually.
Yeah, and I guess it's because it only has the 8,000 or 9,000 BTUs, so it can't really be used much in a code minimum building just because the heat loss is too large. But once you move into the passive house high performance and you get the heat load down, then it's the perfect.
Exactly. What I did not mention by lack of time is, in larger apartments or larger homes or even code built homes, you are able to add a Mitsubishi heat pump that my machine will be able to control. So we will still take care of the whole house fresh air, whole house dehumidification, and whole house air filtration, giving a portion of heating and cooling, plus the Mitsubishi ducted or ductless machine will provide the rest of the heating and cooling. And my machine will control the Mitsubishi, making sure that both machines work together and not fight each other. Okay, and we're doing that, and we already have done that in many homes, and it works perfectly. So for the homeowners, only one interaction with one wall-mounted controller. That's it. That's all. So yeah, it's very clever. Actually, we work with Mitsubishi on upcoming machines.
Excellent. Yeah, neat option to not just.
What did I say?
I guess to not just have that. I guess electric duct heaters. Yeah, that could be a ducted heat pump, and then you get the additional capacity.
Still, even if you have a Mitsubishi around, we are still asking to have that electric duct heater around, because even a cold climate heat pump, heat pump by Mitsubishi, you'll still need a backup, because guys, it's Canada. We have some very frigid days in winter, so that electric duct heater, which is not even $600, is well worth it, to protect ourselves and our loved ones.
Yep, exactly. All right, that's most of the questions I've had. So I guess, does anyone want to kind of turn on their mics and ask, or anything else?
Please do. Questions,
ask,
comments. Yeah,
Alex?
what do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? So please be frank. We're among colleagues of the industry here.
So I guess, anyone else? No. So I guess. Emil,
Sorry?
can you turn your sound up a little bit, Emil?
What would the trade price be average? Just raw number.
I'm sorry, I really didn't get the question. Did you get a question, Frank?
I didn't hear it either. Sorry. Can you try one more time or type it in?
The cost and a wholesaler cost for one of these units, the ballpark figure.
Oh, they have never ending question. They always question, what's the cost, Alex? Roughly.
Okay, so we're talking of roughly of $7,500
Supply
Canadian.
Only?
Yeah. Thank
Supply?
you, Dave Huband. Yeah. Sorry, Frank, what did you say?
So that 7,500 supply.
7,500. $7,500. Yes.
Yeah, supplied. Okay.
Supply. Yeah. But when you say supply, do you mean that doesn't mean retail for you?
No, sorry, that's not installed. You still have to have the installation.
Oh, no, not installed. Not installed,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah,
just the unit itself.
So I guess I'm going to what's the warranty roughly on it?
So I would love to have 12 years, but thank you, Nick, for the comment, by the way. So it's 5 years part. Okay, 5 years parts. Thing is, if we find that obviously it was a manufacturer defect, we do pay some extra money to the installers. We never ran away. On the contrary, we are standing behind our products. The first project we've done, at the Highbridge place in the United States, we had some little issues that we quickly took care of. Because even the best machines out there can have some issues, but we stood up behind our products, and it's more importantly behind our customers. We took care of the matters rapidly, and that customer who initially bought 20 units from us came to me, last year to say, hey, we would like to do another project with you for 189 machines this time. So yeah, so it's 5 year parts, but like I said, we stand behind our product. I'm on the ground, myself. Connecting directly with customers. We're still a medium-sized manufacturer, and we are already planning to have a second assembly plant because we're lacking space where we are. The state of New York would like us to open an assembly plant in the U.S. And in the state of New York for the U.S. markets. We are seriously considering that. So there's a lot of good stuff going on, yeah, I mean, our sales are like this. Recognition is like this. Unfortunately, not as much as I would like to in Western Canada. It's mostly my fault because being in Southern Quebec, you could understand it's easier for us to buy car, drive down, from Portland, Maine down to Washington, D.C., where from those two cities, you have the population of the entire Canadian population, so it's, yeah, but still, we want to have more and more people using our machines on the West Coast, also in the Rockies and the prairies, and yeah, so hopefully today we'll be able to have more chance to do some interesting work for some of you, hopefully. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me personally if you think that you have some projects you would like to discuss, or if you would like to have that presentation done again with some of your business partners, please, or customers, let me know.
Perfect. Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Alex. And I guess we're a little bit over time. So if there are no other questions from the remaining in the group, then I will, again, thank you very much, Alex. And yeah,
thank you
guys in a month.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Sean, David, and who else is there? Emily, Frank, of course, Kim Walton. Hello, Kim. Bonjour. Joe, Jonathan, who else? And Colin Berg. Yeah, I think I said hello to everybody. So thank you for your time. It was a pleasure being with some other Canadians, and I hope that my English pronunciation with my French Canadian accent was not too bad. So you take care. It was a pleasure being with you guys. Au revoir. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you all.